What do you do when you're dominating your series, leading the standings by nearly 200 points, and the man who built your career around you was already talking about you in the past tense? That is exactly where Justin Allgaier stands right now. And if Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s words out of Nashville are any indication, the clock on one of NASCAR's most underrated careers may be ticking down faster than anyone expected. Here is what we know. Justin Allgaier is 39 years old, driving for JR Motorsports in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. He has 4 wins already in 2026, and he is sitting on a 179-point lead in the standings. On paper, this man is on a collision course with a second championship. But when asked point blank about his future in the sport, Allgaier told SiriusXM, and I quote, "I can't promise you anything." Not exactly the kind of statement you make when you're planning to be around long term. And then Dale Earnhardt Jr., his boss and one of the most respected voices in NASCAR, steps up to a mic in Nashville and says it has been an honor and a privilege to work with him. That's retirement language. That's eulogy language. Dale doesn't say things like that casually. To understand the weight of this moment, you have to go back to 2016. Allgaier had just left Cup racing with H. Scott Motorsports, a program that was never going to give him what he needed, and he landed at JR Motorsports. There were questions at the time about whether the deal was more about his sponsor, Brandt, than the driver himself. A pure business arrangement, some said. What followed put that notion to rest permanently. Allgaier finished third in the standings his first year, racked up 13 top 5s and 27 top 10s, and never looked back. Over the following decade, he became the face of that organization, 29 wins, a championship in 2024. A level of consistency that very few drivers at any level of NASCAR have matched in that stretch. This is not a driver who struggled to find a role. This is a driver who defined one. And now, at the peak of his powers, the life outside the racetrack is pulling louder than ever. He's been married to his wife Ashley for nearly 2 decades, 2 daughters, Harper and Willow, at home. A family business up north, the math of being on the road week after week, grinding through a 33-race season is starting to look different when you weigh it against what is waiting for you when you can't home. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Justin Allgaier may have timed this perfectly, and that is actually the most interesting thing about this whole situation. When drivers walk away and decline, we talk about legacy damage. When drivers walk away at the top, we talk about legend. Allgaier, if he retires after a potential second championship this year, avoids the slow fade entirely. He leaves with 2 titles, nearly 30 wins to one organization, in 0 seasons where people were whispering that maybe it was time. Compare that to so many drivers who stayed too long. The ones where the final chapter overshadowed the great middle chapters. Allgaier has a chance to skip that entirely. Now, is there risk in this? Absolutely. JR Motorsports loses its most decorated active driver, and they have to rebuild around whoever steps into that seat. The organization has other talent, but Allgaier has been the anchor. That is a real loss for Dale Jr. and the team going forward. There is also the question of whether Allgaier himself would regret it. He admitted, right there at Nashville Superspeedway, that in January he was 105% sure he was retiring, and now he is saying he is having the most fun of his entire career. That is a man in genuine conflict. That is not someone who has made up his mind. The pull of competition is still there, clearly. The question is whether it is strong enough to outpull everything else. Kenny Wallace brought up Max Verstappen recently. The idea that championships pile up, and then one day you look back and wonder what it all meant in the bigger picture. That is a real philosophical question for any athlete at this stage. Allgaier already has his answer started. The question is whether he is satisfied with 1 chapter or 2. The NASCAR community is split on this, and that split is honest. One camp believes Allgaier owes the sport nothing. He gave a decade of elite-level performance, and if he wants to coach his daughter's soccer games instead of lap traffic at Bristol, that is his earned right. The other camp looks at a 39-year-old who is still clearly the best driver in his series and sees unfinished business. A 3rd championship, maybe a cup return on the right terms. There are things left on the table. What is interesting is that even his wife, Ashley, the person with the most reason to want him home, has reportedly been pushing him not to quit. That tells you something about how good this season has looked from the outside. Allgaier wins the 2026 championship, takes the offseason to reset, and returns for one final season on his own terms, a victory lap that gives him the send-off his career deserves. He goes out as a 2-time champion, fully in control of the story. The The uncertainty lingers. The decision gets forced before he's ready, and he walks away mid-momentum without the closure he or his team needed. JR Motorsports scrambles to fill a massive void, and Allgaier spends the next few years second-guessing the timing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been around this sport long enough to know when a goodbye is coming before the driver says it. And the way he spoke about Allgaier in Nashville, warm, grateful, past tense, and everything but the words, suggests he sees it too. But here is what I want to know from you. If Justin Allgaier wins this championship and retires, does that go down as one of the best exits in NASCAR's recent history? Or does it feel like a sport losing one of its last genuinely compelling figures too soon? Drop your take in the comments. This is one of those conversations that deserves more than a hot take, because there is real nuance here, and I know this audience understands it. And if you are watching this and you have not subscribed yet, this is exactly the kind of story we dig into every week. Hit the button. You know where it is.